Hi everyone, this is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to film my response to a tag that was created recently in response to recent events that have really rocked my world and the worlds of most everybody that I follow on Booktube. And that is the acts of police brutality in the United States and the accompanying Black Lives Matter protests. I didn't know whether or not I wanted to address this on my channel. I still feel somewhat that as a white woman, it's not my place to respond to these events, but rather to step aside and let the folks most directly impacted have the platform and have the podium, as it were, and amplify their voices. But I also don't want to let this go by and not express my absolute outrage and horror and sadness at the brutal acts of the police towards our Black community members. It's not right. It's wrong. It's been wrong for hundreds of years, and it continues to be wrong. And I really want to help uplift other people in our community. And I think that the way that I can best do that is by participating in this tag that was created by Jennie Johnston, and she kindly tagged me. This is the Amplify Voices tag for Black Lives Matter. And in thinking about who I wanted to talk about in response to her tag, I was going through lists in my mind of my favorite Black authors like Roxane Gay and other folks that you've heard me talk about on this channel many times, particularly nonfiction authors. But my eyes happened to rest on a notebook that's with me all the time. This is a notebook that my daughter gave me for Christmas a couple years ago, and it's actually always on my desk when I'm working. And one day when I was sort of thinking about these questions, I happened to look down and say, this is who I want to talk about. This is Shirley Chisholm on the cover of my little notebook. And the quote on the cover from her is, "If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair." And I absolutely love that quote. And it's always been an inspiration to me. Shirley Chisholm was born in 1924 and passed away in 2005. And in the meantime, she was an absolute hero in the U.S. She served as the first elected representative to the Congress of the United States. She was elected in 1968 for the state of New York, first African-American woman to be elected to Congress. She served 7 terms in the House of Representatives. She was also the first African-American to run for president for a major political party in the U.S. That was in 1972. We could only wish that she had won the nomination and won the presidency. When she ran for the Democratic nomination, she experienced tons of discrimination, as you can well imagine. And that discrimination led to her being blocked from participating in all the televised debates that happened during that primary. She had to bring legal action against the party because of that. And she was finally permitted to speak, but she only got a chance to speak once on television. But even despite that, she got 10% of the delegates that year in the primary, which was tremendous considering the blocks that had been put in her way as she tried to participate in our democracy. She championed Black and women's equality. She fought for the poor. She advocated for the end of the Vietnam War. She was a true beacon in our democracy. And in amongst all of that, she also was very involved with abortion rights issues. And at one point, she served as the president of the National Association for the Repeal of Abortion Laws. And I want to share with you a quote from a piece of writing she did called "Facing the Abortion Question," which she wrote when she was president of NARAL. "The reaction of a number of my fellow members of Congress seemed to me a little strange. Several said to me, 'This abortion business, my God, what are you doing?' That's not politically wise. It was the same old story. They were not thinking in terms of right or wrong. They were considering only whether taking a side of the issue would help them stay in office, or in this case, whether taking a stand would help me get reelected. They concluded that it would not help me, so it was a bad position for me to take. My advisors were, of course, all men, so I decided to shake them up a little with a feminist line of counterattack. Who told you I shouldn't do this? I asked them. Women are dying every day. Did you know that? They're being butchered and maimed. No matter what men think, abortion is a fact of life. Women will have them. They always have and always will. Are they going to have good ones or bad ones? Will the good ones be reserved for the rich while poor women have to go to quacks? Why don't we talk about real problems instead of phony ones? She was amazing. In 1970, she published her memoir, Unbought and Unbossed. And then in 1973, she published another memoir called The Good Fight, which was about, I believe, her experiences running for the presidency. And then at the end of her life, when she spoke about her legacy, Chisholm said this: I want to be remembered as a woman who dared to be a catalyst for change. I think she was awesome. She was amazing, and I encourage you all to read more about Shirley Chisholm. She was a true American hero. Anyway, thank you very much, Jennie Johnston, for tagging me in this tag. Before I go, I do want to shout out a couple of Black booktubers that I follow that I find very, very helpful in my own education, which is a continuing process. I want to particularly shout out Belinda's Book Nook, because she created a database of Black content providers. I will link her video down below, which has information about that database. It's a great resource, and I highly encourage you to check it out. And I also want to provide a link down below to Karen of Run Right Reads and Alba of Seriella, both booktube friends who constantly educate me and help me better understand the issues facing people of color today in the United States and around the world. I would highly encourage any of the white booktubers who watch my channel who have not done this tag to please do this tag. I think it's a great way for us to amplify Black voices and find out about interesting people that we maybe don't know about. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. And I send my thoughts out to everybody who's been impacted by police violence. And I pledge to try to continue to work on my own biases and things that I can do here in my own community and within my own family to help combat racism in America. Thank you. Talk to you later.